Did Philip Lowe just apologise for his interest rate mistake? Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee because, well, it appears Philip Lowe may be sorry about his interest rate call. For those of you that don't remember, in the long ago, many moons past, the Reserve Bank promised us, or at least this is how the media reported, that interest rates will not rise until 2024. Now, we're still in 2022, guys. Sure, December is right around the corner. My wife is talking about Christmas, so the year's nearly over. I give you that. But we ain't in 2024, and interest rates have gone up. They've gone up a lot. For those of you playing at home, let's bring up the cash rate, and you can see there. I mean, the target, it's right up there. We're almost at normal levels, or close to low normal levels. So, yeah, the whole, it won't increase until 2024, it's bullshit. And a lot of us didn't trust the Reserve Bank when they said that, so we all locked in at super low rates. Now, everyone's freaking out that those of us that have locked in at sub 2%, when we get off our fixed to go on to variable, we're going to see huge increases in our repayments. Now, if that's someone who just jumped into the housing market and that was the only way they could get in, then they're probably going to be in trouble. If it's an old hat that bought years ago and just used it to take advantage of this insanely low rate, you got to expect rates to turn to normal, okay? The bullshit amount of money that you're paying on your mortgage, it's kind of fantasy. Take advantage of it, but don't expect it to last forever. So people believed him. People believed Lowe, or how the media reported the Reserve Bank, that rates wouldn't go up till 2024, and they made financial decisions based on that media reporting. Sure, you shouldn't trust the media. You shouldn't trust what you're told by authority figures, I guess. But people believed him. They took out loans. They probably borrowed extra just so they could get into that article about how they paid above reserve. Can you remember that? Remember those articles? First home buyers paying over $1 million for a first home. A first home isn't meant to be $1 million. That's meant to be the upgrade home. A first home is meant to be a little dog box that you do up yourself, which, in another article we'll look at, you're not going to be able to do that anymore. But anyway, let's look at this, because those people, a lot of them, are gonna be screwed, honestly. So the Reserve Bank Chief Philip Lowe is sorry for interest rate call. Philip Lowe has made a stunning apology to Australians who took out a mortgage after advice from the Reserve Bank. Well, is it advice? I mean, this is a news.com.au article. Is the media reporting on a certain scenario the Reserve Bank said might happen? That's not financial advice. That's people just following the media and taking that on. That's not, I wouldn't call that advice, but you can't blame people for seeing it like that. Well, you kind of can, but the Reserve Bank Governor Philip Lowe has apologised to Australians who may regret taking out a home loan off the back of guidance that interest rates would remain unchanged until 2024. Appearing before a Senate estimates hearing on Monday morning, Dr. Lowe said it was regrettable that the RBA did not make it clear the commentary was conditional on the state of the economy. Okay? It was conditional on the state of the economy. Here's the thing. We're dealing with a class divide here in Australia, honestly. You've got someone who doesn't even have a mortgage, who has $1 million a year income, who fretters around social justice issues with recruitment in the Reserve Bank. Okay, that's what they're dealing with. All this woke bullshit has infested the RBA as well. So, how far removed are you going to be from the average Aussie struggler or battler? And let's bring up here. I just want to bring up this chart to show you that, well, the RBA's terrible ability to forecast. When I first saw this, I lost any confidence I had in them. But, hang on, where's this one here? I want to show you the difference in household incomes in Australia. The class divide is growing even more. Here you go. You can see from the adjusted lowest income to even the middle income. Look at the difference between middle income and highest income. That's a huge divide. The class divide is growing, guys. Australia is changing. It's not what it was. Australia isn't the country that it was in 2000. Not anymore. Not by any measure. And it's just going to continue to get worse. You're going to have a whole lot of people here in the upper echelons, many of them working in civil servants. Many of them maybe have never had to budget or even struggle financially in their entire life. Some of them probably completely privileged. Now you've got all these woke, racist and sexist policies in government organizations that will hire based on physical characteristics, not skill and effort. So some people are probably sitting in positions, they're thinking it's all due to their merit, but no, they're just a tick box. And they're voting in such a way which will financially impact the poorest in Australia. This is the thing. All this renewable energy stuff, it's all going to be cost of living increases. All of these free things that Labor's giving out in Victoria now, free tampon, free kindergarten, free TAFE. It all sounds good, but it's all going to drive up cost of living. All of it will. There's no such thing as free in the government. And now we have civil servants as well in the RBA making these bold claims. Should they even? Should they even be involved in the media at all? Because, I mean, that's half their game. They want to manipulate it. This is the problem with having these reserve banks. These rates are artificial. They're not market driven. So, and people get trapped. They get suckered in. It overheated the market too. You combine this with home builder, people withdrawing money from their super, people getting JobKeeper while at home, people saving money because they're at home, and then thinking, oh, I don't want to live in this shit rental. Look at this, let's get into housing. It all overheated. Plus reduced supply because they can't build it as fast. Oh boy. Looking back, we would have chosen different language. People did not hear the caveats. Yeah, of course, they're never going to hear the caveats. The media isn't going to report the caveats. I thought it was clear, but the community didn't think it was clear. Well, they thought it was clear that rates wouldn't go up until 2024. Well, they thought it was clear we weren't raising rates until 2024. That's a failure on our part. Yes. I mean, should the RBA even be making predictions out that far? Given the fact that they are so shithouse at making predictions, maybe we need to cap their predictions to 3 months ahead. I mean, all of their indicators, the data they're using, they're only finally starting to get more up-to-date data. It's all trailing indicators. So how can they make any predictions about the future? The more you expose yourself to this stuff, the more of a cynical bastard you become. That's why my beard fell off. So, here we go. I'm sorry that I'm incapable of doing my job. And he thought I was capable of doing it, and now there are no consequences for me, but lots of consequences for you, because you listened to me. But I'm sorry if that helps. Oh, Johnny, yeah, well, there you go. Dr. Lowe has come under fire for saying as late as November last year that the bank was likely to hold the cash rate steady at record low rates. Since May, the cash rate has rapidly increased from 0.1% to 2.85%. Another rate rise is expected when the central bank board meets next week. The governor defended his actions, telling the committee, when we made the comments, the economy was facing dark times and inflation was unlikely to pick up quickly. They had no idea what they're doing. I mean, really. An economy is such a complicated, emergent system with a whole variety of factors, and they're trying to pull one handle to manipulate it. No wonder they suck at predicting it. He noted fears of unemployment hitting 15% and a generation of young kids being locked out of the job market. Yeah, no, that's a true concern. I was worried about that too. I really was, and that's why when the coalition brought in the whole discriminatory payments for younger people, $100 extra to give someone younger a job as opposed to someone older, I didn't mind that, honestly, because I'm old. And if you're, over 30 or over 40, you're not worth that extra $100 a week, that's on you, okay? You need to get your shit together, honestly, if you're not worth that extra $100 a week to an employer. Because that's not going to, would that push someone over to hiring someone? No, it'll just make it a bit more of an incentive to, okay, I'm going to take this younger person, it'll be a bit cheaper, they're a pain in the ass because I got to teach them stuff. They're probably going to be on their mobile phone all the time because they're a millennial, and I'll repeat the old boomer stereotypes. You know what I mean. Give them 6 months working and earning money. It hardens people up real quick. The economy rebounded than the RBA expected, and Dr. Lowe conceded the bank and the government had probably over-insured against COVID. They did a lot about COVID that we really need to pull apart. I need to go through the Shergold report about lockdowns and how... Well, here's the thing. You can be right criticizing it years ago, provide evidence from famed epidemiologists that argued against these interventions, but no one cares. Look at Victoria. Andrews got in, no problem. People don't care. You can be right, but people don't care. They want the perception of action from their leaders because they're scared. They don't give a shit if the action is right or not. And that's the problem we have, trying to argue facts and reason here. I think Scott Adams is right, guys. We're in a post-facts world. Anyway, back to the article. Since then, the lift in housing construction costs, petrol prices, and Russia's invasion on Ukraine has contributed to inflation reaching a 32-year high at 7.3%. So think about that. You came in, you locked in or borrowed at low rates, even low variable rates, and then inflation shoots up to a 32-year high. And just think about that. If rates keep going up, some people are going to have a lot of fun. Dr. Lowe suggested inflation would decrease naturally over the next 2 years after peaking at 8% later this year. The government has said, while he wanted real wages to increase, he warned that if that were to occur now, it would only fuel inflation and lead to higher interest rates. So yes, they're struggling to make your mortgage payments. Your cost of living is going through the roof. You borrowed based on what the media was reporting about the RBA saying that rates wouldn't go up. And after years and years and years and years and years of Dr. Lowe arguing for wages to go up, he's saying, oh, you can't have that now. No, sorry. You got to suffer even more. If wages go up, we're going to put up interest rates to tackle inflation. This is what happens when you fuck around with an emergent system. This is what happens. You're getting this a lose-lose bloody situation. And pardon my language, this is just bloody frustrating. I understand this is a real hard message. Inflation's 8%, wages maybe 3 or 4%, he said. So your real wage is actually declining this year. That's hard. That's a hard message for everyone. But the alternative is even more difficult. Asked directly if he believed, as he had warned in the past, Australia could face a 1970s wage price spiral should wages rise with inflation, Dr. Lowe said he was simply drawing attention to the risk. I know it's a very unpleasant message, he said. I'm not concerned it's going to happen. We're not forecasting it's going to happen, but I'm saying if it did, it would be very difficult. But who is going to trust anything he's going to say now? I mean, isn't that a given now? So let's talk about this. Well, let's jump over to trading economics. Let's see if we can get indicators for Australia. Where do I want? I want Australia. Do we have 70s inflation on this bad boy here? Come on. How far out can I go? Let's go max. So oh boy. So we're looking at plus 15% inflation, guys. I mean, look at that. Look at that. Okay? Oh, boy. And are we on track? Forecasts, consensus, previous, actual. So it was higher. Actual interest rate, inflation, was higher than the forecast and the previous. And you've got to remember, this is a bullshit figure too. It doesn't take account of proper housing costs. We're screwed. Shit. Oh, you can only laugh. Anyway, let's have a talk about this. So, does anyone trust the RBA? Lowe has warned us in a roundabout, bloody fruffy way that, it may be unpleasant if we have 70s inflation, but we're not predicting it. Who cares what they predict? Their modeling's proven to be shithouse. They get it wrong again and again and again and again and again. They're trying to intervene on a system that's obviously more complex than they're able to accurately model. We're just going along with a little, cork bobbing up and down in the ocean that is the world. We're just along for the ride. Yeah. This could sting a lot of people. I mean, what advice would I give you? Get multiple income streams if your wages aren't going to increase. Find other ways to earn extra money. Cut your costs. Do your budget so if you need to cut back, you know what to cut back. Track your spending. Buy food in bulk so it's cheaper. Reduce the amount of times you eat. Cut back to 1 meal a day. Increase your fat and meat intake so you're not wasting carbohydrates. Avoid getting sick. Don't get diabetes. Grow a beard and then shave it off once a year to save money on haircuts. I mean, there's some premium tips right there. Or fast. Actually fast for a week so you're not afraid to go without food. So you know that's not the end of the world. Those hunger pains go away and you can struggle on. So you feed the kids before you feed yourself. Then you can get money by going on those ABC articles and complaining. Do they pay for that, don't they? I hope they do. I mean, half of what I'm saying here is facetious, and frankly, half of it is something that you may have to consider going without. I know that's not a popular thing in Australia. We may have to go without for a time. And then just add all to that this whole push for renewable energy and free shit from the government. Oh, well, hey, that's how you learn. What do you reckon, guys? Think I'm worried about nothing? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching. Check out HeiseBim and HeiseSays International for other topics that I discuss. And let us know if you locked in at a low rate. Or do you trust Philip Lowe? Or does this scare you even more that we're heading towards the 70s? As always, if you want to support us, you can financially on YouTube or Patreon. Use our referral links, buy our pocket squares, or call us if you need an architect. Now, supporting a YouTube channel, subscribing to Patreon or YouTube, anything like that, if you're in financial troubles, don't do it. That's the first thing you cancel. That is a luxury item, just as Disney Plus or any of these other subscriptions. You find ways to save money. Don't let any of them guilt you into it. I watch YouTubers and they bitch and moan about how advertisers aren't paying them enough money or how they're doing it tough. Content creation, it's easier than real work, okay? This is from a small business owner. I'm probably approaching it from a different perspective. It's easier than a real job. This is what I do to break up my day when I want to procrastinate from, doing drafting or something like that. I'm sick of this detail. I'll go do a video on something and ramble. Maybe that's just me, bitter and old. Anyway, take care, everyone. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode of HeiseSays. Bye for now.